for some peace of mind, but TikTok said a gator drove a jeep through the blinds. Florida man's at it again with fireworks and a goat, and someone married a ghost in a Dollar Tree coat. Hey, what in the Walmart rapture is going on? Aliens dancing in a Waffle House song. Karen's got a taser in the checkout line, and Dr. Oz just adopted birds to fight off crime. Oh, I'm just sitting here scrolling, my jaw on the floor. The internet's a circus and I can't take no more. Yeah, when it's wildin', there's a raccoon in the sink. Someone robbed a Wendy's just to steal a frosty drink. A pastor's gone viral yelling about the end is near, while folks ride hoverboards in wedding gear. Yeah, what in the Walmart rapture is this mess? Florida's a movie, but it's filmed in VHS. Someone fed meth to a squirrel named Dave, and now he's in a cage just throwing rave. I'm just...
Well, good morning, everyone. There are days where it is incredibly hard to plan a morning, somewhat comedy news show when we basically have dumpster fire sandwiches going on everywhere. I know everyone is probably fully aware of everything going on in the world, and we will cover that. And absolute congratulations to Auto Body Gal, 18 days smoke-free. I haven't even gotten one day, so that is a remarkable streak, and I hope you keep it going. So we will be covering the headlines, but what's important to me is to also bring a bright, shining light. We're not going to ignore the terrible things that have happened over the weekend, but we are going to have, our daily Advent absurdity first, because in a world that tries to wipe out all joy and laughter, the most radical thing you can do is smile and laugh and remember that there are joy, there is laughter, and there is still love out there. So without further ado, we're going to start with our Advent of absurdity today. And for those of you who like Seinfeld, which I never quite got, again, I don't think I was the target audience at 9 years old. I always was kind of pissed off at Seinfeld that I had to wait for it to get over until I could get to The Simpsons. But we do have Seinfeld in the news, so let's get to our Advent of absurdity.
2025 is nearly done, so grab your cocoa, here's the fun. Every day's a brand new spray of what the hell absurdity. From runaway, innocence on the loose, to news you swear was fake, but true. Mo's got the snark, you bring the tea. It's the WFT Advent Countdown with Mosh.
Well, Newman is back. That's right. If you had Newman coming back thinner and better than ever, you win today. Hollywood veteran Wayne Knight is currently in the midst of a career comeback with a new hit movie and a brand new look. The actor, now 70 years old, best known for playing Newman on Seinfeld, has boasted, an enviable resume that includes memorable roles like Jurassic Park and Basic Instinct, along with To Die For and Space Jam. Now he's back on top thanks to his role in horror sequel Five Nights at Freddy 2, which is currently breaking records at the box office. Now, I just loved him as the villain in Jurassic Park. I'm glad that he's gotten healthier and it seems like he's coming back. We've lost so many people. So as I said, look, I wasn't a fan of Seinfeld. I am not going to lie to you guys. At 10 years old, I thought it was the dumbest show ever. I was like, adults must have just terrible lives because all they do is bitch about soup. Now I realize that I'm an adult and all I do is bitch about stuff too. So maybe I just wasn't old enough for Seinfeld, but I am glad he's coming back. Now, I haven't watched any of the Five Nights at Freddy movie, but there you go. I think my boys want to see it, so I hope that they can wait till it gets rented out and we can watch it in the safety of our home. Now on to, well, just all the news. Bondi Beach terror survivor does describe how police officers froze for 20 minutes. Now, there are a lot of different stories about this, and not being from Australia, I would encourage you guys to go look at Sky News 4 or Australian News, because I don't want to get any of these facts wrong, and I'm not quite in touch with all the sort of policy things. I mean, as a dumb American here, I thought most people weren't allowed to have weapons. So again, I say this as, a fully ignorant person who has no idea exactly what happened or what the laws concerning, firearm ownership were. I would say definitely look at Australian news sources, because they will have a better understanding of what actually went on. Bondi Beach terrorists were a father and son who legally did own 6 force multipliers, despite the very tough firearm laws. And I guess that's where my ignorance as an American is really clear. I guess I thought that no one had firearms at all, which is not the case. The 2 gunmen who opened fire on Australia's Bondi Beach, where thousands of Jewish people had been celebrating Hanukkah, are believed to be a father-son duo who had a trove of legally owned firearms, authorities have said. Naveem Akram, 24, and his father, Sajid, allegedly stormed the family-friendly Hanukkah by the Sea event armed with shotguns and bolt-action rifles, killing at least 15 and injuring 40 more in Sunday's terror attack on Sydney's world-famous beach, New South Wales police have announced on Monday. Now, again, I am not aware of all the laws, so I really don't know, and that's why I would say, as someone who doesn't know and won't be able to give you a clear picture, do look into, Australian creators, content creators, and news to get a more fulsome picture, because I can't give you that. I can't give you, the rules, the laws, or anything. I can just say that my heart is broken for everyone who was a victim, who was there, and for the incredible acts of bravery that have come out of this story. I was very tempted to get on yesterday and cover this, but I didn't think I would do justice to the bravery that everyday citizens were showing. And I wanted to let people who actually lived there and had more understanding cover it. Now, the pair did own at least 6 guns between them, each of which was fully licensed. Now, the father was taken down at the scene during a shootout with police and was part of a gun club and had a recreational hunting license for over a decade. He met with the eligibility criteria for a firearms license, said New South Wales Police Commissioner Mal Layden. So that did come out during a press conference. So the firearms license was to be for recreational hunting license. Now, there are 2 types of hunting licenses: the ability to hunt on a property or as part of a hunting club, so a gun club. Now, he was part of a gun club and was entitled by the nature of the Firearms Act to have a firearms license issued. Now, Shadid has had his license since 2015, allowing him to legally own long firearms that he had as registered firearms. Now, again, this is going to be something that I am sure is going to come up. Whether or not any more restrictions on force multipliers would have stopped this, I don't know. I don't live in Australia. I don't have any idea how all of their laws work. I will say that this is something, as a casual observer, I'm just putting this out there, as a casual observer who does tend to imbibe more UK and Commonwealth news than the average American. I have been worried about Australia since very shortly after the October 7th attacks. There was that protest in right around the Opera House. That being said, I was worried that we were going to see something like this, but I'm not Nostradamus and I'm not there. So while this was horrifying, I wasn't shocked, and that's what scares me. What scares me is I'm no longer shocked that these things are happening. And that's a bit terrifying to me. My heart goes out to all the victims, to all the Australians, to everyone who is touched by this tragedy, and just hope that there's more light in this world than darkness. And we did see a lot of light. There was a gentleman who had already been shot, who risked his life to disarm one of these attackers. Thank you, Thor. No, I need you to come here and try to molest the printer, because that's what everyone needs. So I will say, do keep an eye on this. I think more will be coming out. Again, there will probably have to be a very big review investigation, and there might be certain media restrictions. So the best place to get news about the Bondi attack and what's going forward as far as a trial for the son or anything like that would be to follow Australian news, just because there is a lot of differences in what they're allowed to, broadcast about certain subjects and how they're allowed to report on things if there is going to be a trial. So definitely do keep up with this. But keep everyone in your thoughts and prayers if you believe in that, because we've unfortunately got more terrible news today. We have chilling. We had Bondi on Sunday, and this on, unfortunately, this weekend as well. Chilling new details are emerging about the suspected Brown University mass casualty event. A unique handgun laser light that helped police nail Brown University's possible mass attacker, who traveled more than 1,150 miles from Wisconsin to Rhode Island to carry out a deadly attack, has been revealed. Dingus. Okay, not dingus. You know who you are, but you're acting like a dingus. A revolver and a small handgun that were equipped with a special laser light were found in the hotel room of a man now considered a person of interest in the horrific case, according to sources and CNN. Now asked where he'd been on Saturday, the man claimed he was in his hotel room the entire day. Now, the handgun laser aided investigators in identifying the man, according to the Post. Now, the individual has only been identified as a man in his 20s and was taken into custody in Coventry, Rhode Island, in a hotel earlier on Sunday after authorities banged on the door and ordered him to open up. Now, once inside the suspect's hotel room, police found 2 weapons, according to the sources. Now, again, do take this with a grain of salt. These are anonymous sources who are talking to CNN. Now, wherever you line up politically, anonymous sources have been the, credible issuers of bullshit for the mainstream media for a long time. So I'm not discounting this story whole cloth, but do remember that this story is based on basically conjecture from anonymous sources who probably shouldn't be speaking to the media. Oh, he wasn't the person they were looking for. Okay, I'm trying to pull stories. You guys, I will say that it has been so cold this weekend that I basically didn't get out of bed. My legs barely worked, and I kind of cut myself off from the news. I usually do one full day where I kind of do not pay attention to anything. And this weekend was basically a whole weekend of not paying attention to anything. So I am sorry. I did not realize that this actually was someone who was released. Okay, well, we'll go to this one. The person of interest in the Brown University shooting has been released as the investigation now points in a different direction. Thank you, Jedi Jess. I'm sorry. I wanted to talk to you, but then I thought, oh goodness, you're from Rhode Island. I didn't want, if you were at all knew anyone, I didn't want to get you, when you were trying to deal with making sure people were safe. A 24-year-old man whom authorities had apprehended in connection with the Brown University mass shooting has been released from custody, while the real gunman remains at large, authorities announced during a surprise conference late Sunday evening. Benjamin Erickson had been handcuffed just before dawn on Sunday at a Hampton Inn, but it does seem like he was not, involved now. Now, Rhode Island Attorney General Peter Naronha, I'm guessing I probably said that wrong, explained that it was difficult to develop evidence and track down leads in the immediate aftermath of the shooting Saturday, in which 2 students were killed and another 9 were injured. Now, this is what an investigation looks like. Sometimes you head in one direction and sometimes you regroup to go to another. Now, one of the leads they developed led them to Erickson, whom authorities had referred to only as a person of interest. Now, Naranha said that there was some degree of evidence that had led them to Erickson, but that their investigation now pointed in a different direction. I think it's fair to say that there is no basis to consider him a person of interest. That's why he's being released. We still have a lot of steps to take in this case. Now, the gunman, who is yet to be identified, burst into an economics class final review session and opened fire. He was armed with a handgun and shot off more than 40 rounds of 9mm ammunition before he fled. Now, witnesses said they heard the shooter shouting something indiscernible while he was firing at the class. Now, Erickson had originally told authorities that he was in his hotel room all Saturday. Officials never formally identified, Erickson as a person of interest when they had him in custody, but his name was leaked to several media outlets, including the Post. Now, Narona criticized those who leaked information to the public and recognized it would be difficult to put the genie back in the bottle. Providence Mayor Brett Smiley assured that they would keep a heightened security presence on and around the campus so people could feel comfortable while trying to find a sense of normalcy in the aftermath of the shooting. Smiley added that officials saw no reason to reinstate a shelter-in-place order since Brown University has not received any credible threats since this shooting. Now, Rhode Island Governor Daniel McKee said that he had spoken recently to FBI Director Kash Patel, who is committed to bringing the resources of the federal government into the case. The FBI has opened up a tip line on its website, and officials said that they are searching for additional video evidence, and they believe the person seen in the footage released on Saturday is the assailant that they're after. Now, the footage showed a gunman walking calmly down the street near campus, dressed in all black with his face covered. Hopefully they will get more leads on this and we can narrow things down. Again, my heart goes out to the parents who lost children right before the holidays. In one of the places where they thought they would be safe. I mean, who would have thought that an economics class in Brown University, studying for, for their, finals, would have to be picking out a casket. My heart breaks. I can't imagine what these parents, family, and friends and students are all dealing with. It's just, sometimes evil's gonna evil. And I wish that we had like this grand conspiracy scheme behind it. I wish there was some mathematical equation that would explain evil, but there isn't, and God, I wish there was, because if there was an explanation, we could stop it, we could solve it, and we could, make it so no one would be evil. But unfortunately, that's not the world we live in. In another sad story that I was not expecting, this broke fairly early this morning or late last night. But legendary director Rob Reiner and his wife were found stabbed to death in their LA home. Now, their son is being eyed as a person of interest. Do take that with a grain of salt, though. We've seen how people of interest, might not be the actual person. So do go in remembering that person of interest might not mean the actual person. Legendary director Rob Reiner and his wife were found stabbed to death inside their Brentwood home, and investigators are looking at the couple's a troubled adult son as a person of interest, according to law enforcement sources. Now, officials were called to the home Sunday afternoon, where they discovered both a man and woman with stab wounds, according to sources. Now, the Los Angeles Fire Department told NBC Los Angeles that a 78-year-old man and a 68-year-old woman were found deceased inside the home. Now, they were able to confirm that the bodies discovered in the home were a longtime couple who had married in 1989. Now, the couple's 32-year-old son and screenwriter, Nick Reiner, is a person of interest in the deadly stabbing. It is with profound sorrow that we announce the tragic passing of Michelle and Rob Reiner. We are heartbroken with the sudden loss and ask for privacy during this unbelievably difficult time, the Reiner family has said in a statement. A knife is believed to have been used in the attack, according to sources. Again, we will probably not have a lot of information about this unless and until they find the person of interest and can make a probable cause affidavit. And he gets due process. In our system, he gets due process. So we do have to wait for all of those things until we can, do the old conjecture spiel. That being said, regardless of every single hot take this man has put out, and boy, did he put out a lot, nobody, absolutely nobody deserves to die like this. I do hope that we don't see anyone using this death for political points. This is a tragedy. This is an absolute tragedy that a couple in their home, what it looks like is lost their lives to a child. And I do hope that I say this, the world we're living in, I'm sure people will try to use this to score political points. But that won't be happening here. This is a tragedy. And behind every single story, behind every trial, I think sometimes we forget that there is real human pain, suffering, and tragedy behind every headline and every trial. And I can't imagine what the Reiner family is going through. I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. I wouldn't wish it on anyone. So I hope that they are getting the love, support, and comfort that they can with this devastating, devastating news. Now, Nick has been open about his issues battling both drug addiction and homelessness in the past. Okay, sir, no, you are not allowed to jump and get into things. I was homeless in Maine, I was homeless in New Jersey, I was homeless in Texas, and I spent nights on the street. It was not fun, he told People in an interview in 2016. Now, officers have blocked off the street in front of Reiner's home, and detectives can be seen going in and out early in the morning. Now, a reporter on scene observed a man who identified himself as Rocco tell the police that he was Reiner's assistant and offered assistance in access to the home. A neighbor told the Post that comedian Bill Crystal had been a longtime friend of Reiner and was spotted arriving to the home. Larry David was also seen at the home following the murders, and Crystal looked like he was about to cry. In a shambolic press conference outside the Reiner home, LAPD Detective Chief Alan Hampton shared that the department was still in the process of obtaining a search warrant for the property 6 hours after 911 was called to be able to fully investigate the murders. Now, Hamilton did assure reporters that the people of Brentwood were safe and that the suspect had not yet been arrested in connection to the murder. Now, Hampton couldn't confirm the identities of the deceased, though LA Mayor Karen Bass and Governor Gavin Newsom had both posted tributes for Reiner online. So again, we are probably going to get more information as this goes through investigation and everything else. What I will say is, this is an absolute tragedy for the Reiner family, and, it's not good. And I do hope that this doesn't become something that's, used to score political points. I hope none of the tragedies that I've reported on thus far get, to become a political hot potato. Now, in another Hollywood actor passing in a rather odd way, now this was from last week. I didn't cover it because there was a bit of what the hell was going on. Now, it does look like more is coming out about the story, and it still looks like there's something hinky going on. Actor Peter Green was found lying face down on the floor with blood everywhere when police were called and found him dead. Now, this man has always been my secret crush. I don't know. I watched The Mask and I thought the villain was pretty cute. Jim Carrey, the villain. Yes. Actor Peter Green was reportedly discovered lying face down on the floor with a strange note when police discovered his body on Friday. Peter was lying face down on the floor with an injury on his face, along with blood everywhere. A neighbor described the scene to New York Daily News. Now, the outlet additionally reported that a strange handwritten note was found on the scene alongside the actor's body. I mean, he looks pretty much the same, but also it said, "I'm still a Westie," referring to the 1970s Irish-American gang that operated out of Hell's Kitchen. Now, a rep for Green has not responded for comment. Green was pronounced dead on Friday after he was found unresponsive in his Lower East Side apartment on Clinton Street at around 3:25 p.m. Now, he was 60 years old. The note, the weird facial injury, I don't know. Now, the police told the Post that they don't suspect any foul play, but that the cause of death will have to be determined by an investigation. Now, Green was a father of a 16-year-old son, Ryder, and God bless, people really are, left behind. So, doggone it. Now, the Pulp Fiction star's death was confirmed by his longtime manager, Greg Edwards, who remembered the late actor as a terrific guy in a statement to the outlet. Truly one of the great actors of our generation. His heart was as big as there was. I'm going to miss him. He was a great friend. Now, it does appear that Green's death came as a surprise to Edwards and others around him, as he was originally scheduled to film with Mickey Rourke on an independent thriller called Mascots. Mickey Rourke is still alive? I'm a terrible person. I thought Andy Dick was dead and Mickey Rourke is dead, but apparently those two are still alive. Now, upon learning about the actor's passing, Edwards said the film's writer and director, Carrie Mondragon, was very upset. So, yeah, well, I mean, I guess it is a normal thing in life. But, yeah. Well, in a bit of a palate cleanser from kind of the awful news that I have to bring you, a community rescued a grieving North Dakota widow by harvesting their late pal's 1,400 acres of crops for her. Again, there is always going to be dark in this world, but gosh darn it, I do like these stories where people come together to light up dark times for everyone. And do keep in mind that there are probably hundreds of thousands of stories of human kindness and love and laughter and things like this going on in your own backyard. But it doesn't make for good news. So when you are starting to get a little black pill today, do remember that there are a bunch of these small, everyday miracle stories that just don't get the headlines. In North Dakota, farmers aren't just neighbors, they're family. And when a sudden car crash tragically took the life of a beloved community member, the folks of Antler got together to carry out one final act of kindness. They harvest his crops. Randy Filesvold was killed in September, and his grieving widow, Cara, and their two sons were left reeling and in really no condition to deal with the 1,400 acres of corn and soybeans that were still in their home, in the fields surrounding their home. Now, two of Randy's pals, Wyatt Thompson and Andy Gates, decided to organize a large-scale harvest of their late pal's crops. Now, first they pulled out the call for help, and people answered. In a flash, more than 75 volunteers from surrounding communities were rolling onto the farm with 12 combines and 40 trucks, all loaded with other equipments, along with willing hands. They all worked together like a well-oiled machine, and the massive effort was locked up in just a few days. Kara said being among so many people harvesting her husband's final crop was nothing short of breathtaking, and she feels blessed to be the recipient of so much love and support in a harrowing time. But wouldn't have it any other way. To know Randy was to love Randy, said his buddy Wyatt Thompson. And the reach that he had was just endless, you know. Now, Kara said she'll never forget what they did for her. As I stood in the shop and looked around before the final Randy Fallborn corn harvest started, I was flooded with memories we created with all of you, she wrote in a heartfelt Facebook post. The day was full of emotion, but I found so much peace watching it unfold. From the bottom of my heart, I thank you, and I will always remember this, and Randy would be so proud. God bless all of you and the boys. I love each and every one of you. 12 combines, 7 great grain carts, and over 40 trucks, all of you for Randy. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, this does happen in Indiana a lot, in a lot of rural communities, but you don't hear about it. But I'm glad that we got, to hear about this story, because like I said, we need some of these good stories. Believe me, I needed some of those. Again, another unfortunately terrible story to bring you, but as the wife and child of a bunch of service members, I definitely want to honor someone who gave the ultimate sacrifice, so I can sit here and bitch and play with plushies like that look like dumpster fires. Unfortunately, one of the U.S. soldiers that had lost his life in Syria has been identified as the son of an Iowa police chief. An Iowa police chief has posted a heartbreaking post identifying his son as one of the 3 Iowa National Guard members who were killed in an ISIS attack in Syria. My wife Misty and I had that visit from the Army commanders you never want to have, wrote Mesawaki Nation Police Chief Jeffrey Bunn in a statement on Facebook on Saturday. Our son Nate was one of the soldiers who paid the ultimate sacrifice for all of us to keep us all safer. He loved what he was doing, and he would be the first in and the last one out. No one left behind, the shattered dad wrote. Please pray for our soldiers around this cruel world. We will see you again, son. Until then, we have it from here. Now, Bunn's son, Nate Howard, another soldier, and a civilian interpreter were all killed in a desert ambush while on patrol. The 3 other soldiers were also wounded, 2 having received treatment in hospitals in Lebanon. In a press conference on Sunday morning, Iowa Army National Guard Major General Stephen Osborne said the attack was carried out by a lone ISIS gunman who was later killed by partner forces. At the time of the attack, U.S. personnel were conducting a key leader engagement. Their mission was in support of ongoing counter-ISIS and counter-terrorism efforts in the region. Now, on social media, Howard was remembered as creative and dedicated. In a previous post meant to profile soldiers in his troop, Howard said his ultimate goal was 20 years of service and a retirement that he was proud of. He had served 11 years before the attack. Above all, Sergeant Howard wanted his battle buddies to know he's always there, whether it's to help or simply listen. Now, according to the post, Howard enjoyed hunting and playing video games and was married. Bunn had 3 other sons, including another one who's also serving in the Iowa Army National Guard, and according to his bio on the police department website. So I do very much hope that this family is getting the love and support that they need. And yes, we are, that is all for the news today, you guys. Honestly, there's a couple more things, but that's all for the headlines. We are going straight into what in the Walmart rapture. I love you guys. There are more headlines, but that's all the headlines we're going to do for today. Those are the big ones going on. Do keep everyone that I've mentioned in your thoughts and prayers. I know it's a lot. I know There's a lot of dark in the world, but we can always be the light in the world. Go out and do something kind for people. But let's get on to final form Jesus, because I find we need him multiplied today.
The key-keeped scroll, thou glowing shrine of thirst traps, scams, and dollar signs. We chant in tones both grim and low, for virtue fled a long time ago. Kyrie eleison, Christe descendat, final form Jesus return in wrath. With six-pack glistening, sword in hand, he cometh swift to cleanse the land.
All right. Well, Bonnie Blue has broken her silence after she got banished from Bali. I was kind of hoping Bali would keep her like one of those white elephant gifts, like no take backsies. Like, Bali, I'm sorry, but you have Bonnie Blue and now Ghana herpessyphilitis. Like, I'm sorry. But I thought that this was the gift that we would never get back. But unfortunately for Britain, I guess she bounced back. Well, Bonnie Blue has returned to British soil and broken her silence about being deported from Bali and banned for 10 years following her run-ins with authority. Well, she'll be 36 by the time she can go back to Bali, and it will be even grosser that she's wanting to hook up with high school boys. The 26-year-old corn star, whose real name is Tia, was involved in a dramatic incident in Bali in recent weeks when police raided a rented studio and detained her along with a group of international travelers. Now, the case, which involved seizing cameras, vehicles, and other equipment, attracted worldwide attention and led to speculation that she could face significant jail time due to Indonesia's strict anti-pornography laws. We were all hoping. We were like, come on, Saint Nick, let's get some Purell in here. So sadly, Bali took one look at Ghana herpessyphilitis as a person and was like, no take back. We'll give her back. Return to sender. Now, Badung police claimed that Blue and the group were planning a sex game where the winner would sleep with Bonnie Blue. Ew. No pornographic activities had been taking place. So, she was basically sent away and told you can't come back for another 10 years. Just ew. Don't do that. Well, DNA from Beethoven's hair reveals a surprising, possible diagnosis or reason that he passed away. Now, on a stormy Monday night in March 1827, German composer Ludwig van Beethoven passed away after a protracted illness. He was bedridden since the previous Christmas, ravaged by jaundice. His limbs and abdomen were swollen, and he had a hard time breathing. Now, his associates sorted through his personal belongings and uncovered a document that Beethoven had written a quarter of a century earlier, a will beseeching his brother to make details of his condition known to the public. Today, it's no secret that one of the greatest musicians the world has ever known was functionally deaf by his mid-40s. But it's a tragic irony that Beethoven wished the world to understand, not just from a personal perspective, but a medical one. Now, the composer would outlive his doctor by nearly 2 decades, yet close to 2 centuries after Beethoven's death, a team of researchers set out to fulfill his final, desire to, understand exactly what had kind of led to his hearing loss and other things. Now, they were able to get a piece of hair that was authenticated, and it was basically their primary goal was to shed light on Beethoven's health problems, which famously included progressive hearing loss beginning in his mid to late 20s, eventually leading to him being functionally deaf in 1818. Now, the primary cause of hearing loss has never been known, not even to his own personal physician, Dr. Johann Adam Schmidt. What began as tinnitus in his early 20s gave, way to increased hearing loss. Now, 6 years before his death, there were indications of liver disease. I'm trying to go into... Well, it may not have been genetic. God bless, medieval medical practices. In 2027 or in 2007, a forensic investigation into some of Beethoven's hair suggested there could have been possible lead poisoning. Again, lead was considered a health drink back then, so it's not surprising that he might have been exposed to a lot of toxic metals. However, it doesn't look like that was the cause of their death. Now, more hair locks that have been confirmed to be from the composer said that his death was probably caused by hepatitis B, exacerbated by his drinking and, well, drinking, basically. So all of this, and at the end of the article, swear to God, they just could not figure out what killed Beethoven. But I'm glad that they spent a lot of time talking about it. Well, now this is interesting. This is from my home state, and it does look like we have a reason now why this young lady, air quotes, inverted commas, sprayed pepper spray on a sack of Arby's that she was delivering. Well, you guys, in almost the same defense as Brian Walsh used, she saw a spider on the food, and her first rational thought was to pepper spray it. I feel like this defense isn't going to work for her. A DoorDash worker who was caught on a doorbell cam spraying a mysterious substance on a delivery order bizarrely claimed that she was only aiming at a spider. Courtney Stevenson was seen on December 7th footage delivering Arby's to a doorstep in Indiana, taking a confirmation picture, then calmly spraying, pepper spray into the bag and onto it. But the blue-haired Kentucky native said she was trying to scare away a spider when she was tracked down by cops. Mandy and Mark Carden had complained that they ate the food, vomited, and suffered from burning sensations around their throats and mouths. Now, I still have to contend that pepper spray has to have some sort of odor, is my guess, considering it's an irritant. So why, if it smells like pepper spray, would you continue to eat? I don't know. Now, she told detectives that she had been staying with her father in Indiana and took the job at DoorDash during her visit. I noticed my wife started eating and she choked and gasped. Mark Carden told the media after, he and his wife both experienced gastrointestinal issues after eating the food that had been sprayed. Now, he did try to reach out to Stevenson on the DoorDash app, but found she'd already blocked him. After watching the DoorDash, the doorbell video, he didn't recognize the worker and posted the photos to Facebook. Now, after identifying her, authorities in Indiana charged the driver with 2 counts of battery, resulting in moderate injury, as well as 2 counts of consumer packaging tampering. Now, she was arrested in Kentucky and is waiting to be extradited to Indiana. Now, the Cardigans are wondering if they'll ever, order DoorDash again. Look, let's be real. I'll be real. This is a first world of first world problems. Never does anyone, probably ever in the history of ever, nutritionally ever needed Arby's. Now, it's cold outside and I don't want to go anywhere, but I'm also not the type of a-hole who's going to make some other person go out into the cold to get me some Arby's. So there you go. I just don't DoorDash. I did it once. And I felt bougie, but also like the most lazy and regrettable human being ever. So there you go. I won't be doing that. I won't be door dashing. Well, I'm glad they got him out, but holy crap, I don't even think I can show you video footage of this, but there was a horrifying moment. Well, I guess I can try. I mean, it's not my fault. Don't mess with bears. They're wild animals. I feel like this is not something we should be confused about. don't mess with aminals. Just don't. I also love how everyone's rushing over but not tackling the bear like no one has a tranq gun. You would think they would. A zookeeper was knocked to the ground by a black bear during a live demonstration at Hangzhou Safari Park with dramatic footage capturing the terrifying event. Now, the incident unfolded around Saturday at the 6th of December as two sets of performers took part in the animal behavior display at the zoo in China's Zhangyi. I am probably I am 100% mispronouncing these provinces. So there you go. Now, moments before the attack, the keeper can be seen holding the bear's paw as it stands upright and rides a pink hoverboard across the stage. Well, if you made me ride a pink hoverboard, I would attack you too, allegedly in Minecraft. Food is hovered over the bear's head as it performs a spin on the hoverboard. But the performance took a nightmare turn when one of the bears veered toward a keeper positioned at the edge of the set and lunged at him. Now, a nearby colleague can be seen rushing to help the man attempting to strike the bear with a plastic chair. Yeah, it's a bear. I think we need to go slightly more than a plastic stool. I'm just throwing it out there. I mean, does no one have a tranq dart? Everyone's over here like, I've got a Swiffer wet jet. Now, one of the workers, the female who weighs all of 7 kilos, tried to hit him with a baseball hoop. Now, the park was finally eventually able to get the bear away from the staff member, and the safari park did later confirm that there were no injuries reported either to the trainer or the bear. I'm gonna guess that's China possibly saying that there aren't injuries for something that looks very injurious. Sure. Now, according to officials, the keeper had been carrying a large bag filled with apples and carrots, which might have prompted the animal's reaction. A park spokesperson said at 3:50 p.m. on December the 6th, during our animal behavior demonstration, an incident occurred in which a black bear attempted to snatch food from a trainer. Because it looked like he tried to snatch his, aorta out of his throat. But sure, it was all over apples and carrots. Paddington Bear was just looking for the marmalade sandwiches, as you do. In response, the park has suspended the black bear behavior demonstration. We will also provide comfort and conduct observations for the animals involved to ensure their well-being. Right. Well, something tells me the CCP doesn't really give a damn about worker safety. So if you decide to work in a safari park or a zoo in Shanghai, maybe don't. Or check out OSHA. Because, yeah, it seems to be not so great. Did you find what you needed?
Yeah, just we'll need to talk to you about it. Just things that come.
Alrighty, now we stop from this and go to the crazy, oh gosh, what is it? Clips that Mo has found for our holiday, desires.
It's fun, it's easy, and best of all, we do it to our favorite holiday song. So are you ready? Well, let's go. Now bring the arm.
Hell no. Hell no. Look, call me. Well, actually, don't call me that. Wait. So I had the bright idea to decorate for Christmas. The only problem is you guys can't see it. But I did decorate my office. You guys just can't see it unless you'd like to watch me like Home Improvement. But I am the type of person that I am Christmas carols the day of Christmas and then I'm done. I used to work retail. I cannot handle Christmas carols ever. I know there are people that love it. We have a full-time Christmas channel in Indiana. If that is your jam, that is great for you. I just will never be that person. Yeah, I found those at Hobby Lobby. They're plastic, so I can reuse them. And they were 50% off, which means I bought two and spent the same. As Mr. Mo continually reminds me that 50% off is not a sale if you buy two.
Ian. Now, kick that butt right there.
It's the Dean and Company Christmas Special. Hodo got run over by a reindeer walking home from Dee Dee's.
What in the bourbon and hand puppets is this? I must find this family. I think I found my family. I was separated at birth. This explains my love of sock puppets and drinking.
Christmas Eve. You can say there's no such thing as Santa, but as for me and CJ, we believe.
I didn't remember them having a Christmas special. What? In the Bob Ross, there was a She-Ra and He-Man Christmas special? Today might be the best day in history. Not that I encourage the use of Quaaludes. In fact, don't turn to me for any medical advice, but this might be funner on a gummy or Quaaludes. Just thinking out loud here.
Here's Daisy, Dean, and CJ.
Merry Christmas to everyone from all of us.
Jean and Marie.
No, we need to, because I'm pretty sure the amount of Aquanet needed to make that hair helmet was at least 87 cans of Aquanet. Also, I didn't know that Tales from the Crypt had a Christmas special. I'm going straight to hell. But I didn't know the Crypt Keeper could look so festive.
Everyone from all of us.
I saw that. We do have a meat pearl.
Jean and Marie.
We send you a wish for hope.
Deanie and Charles.
We send you a wish of love.
Just as the wise men did when they brought loving gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh to their Christ child.
Reindeers are like horses. They always want to go back to the barn. It's true. A lot of sleeveless
Reindeer are just like horses. They want to go back to the barn. Okay, Suzanne Summers. What?
things that you wear during the holidays, you know, the dingle dangle. Side of the house.
Will we be home in
I shit y'all not, but if you ever need to Noriega me out of my room like I've been holed up here like John Hughes, play that and I will leave.
time for Christmas?
I can't be sure. It may take a few days to recharge the water crystal.
Watch Miss Velma, who is a crack shot, typify this with the pistol using live ammunition. After this, she will play the hand organ.
He saved us!
He saved you?
Yes, I guess I did. I wish I knew why. I don't think I feel well.
Well, I think you're feeling the Christmas spirit, Skeletor.
Oh God, Skeletor got infected with a Christmas spirit like the clap. Skeletor's like, it hurts when I pee and my heart's grown 3 sizes. You have gonorrhea. Okay, I'm glad we're out of the Ann Ged early 90s babies in like pot things. What the hell? This is for birth control, right? This is like, if y'all thought you were going to get some Christmas cheer, don't. This is what happens.
Well, Merry Christmas, sis.
Merry Christmas, everybody!
Now, it wouldn't be Christmas, and I think we've all agreed that this is a Christmas movie, so Die Hard, the musical. This is These are honestly gems. I love. So this is from. Oh gosh, what is it from? I always want to give them a shout out. Lego Lambs is the content creator that does these.
Ladies and gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, Narcoterm is mine, such a perfect plan. Things will be just fine once we find this man. We will tear apart the building, searching floor by floor, showing him no mercy. There will not be a fall. So, Mr. Mystery Guest, Mr. Cowboy, you know you're not a part of this equation. We'll hunt you down, you little shit, and soon you'll pay the price. It's Christmas, but you're spoiling the occasion.
Okay, you guys, I was this close to buying a Die Hard advent calendar, but Mr. Mo did remind me that I have a lot of stuff, and I would have to get rid of stuff in order to buy new stuff. And he didn't like that I could just store more stuff.
Killing off my men, right the little pest. Might as well cooperate, come down and join the rest. Armed with a machine gun. It's just like an American to brag. But where could you be transmitting? The roof. The plan won't work unless we have the bag. We must have the detonators. So, Mr. Mystery Guest, Mr. Policeman, you might as well give up. There's no way out now. And if not...
Okay, if they don't say, if we don't have, I invited you to the party, this was a missed opportunity.
I've got an office full of hostages to shoot. Sooner or later I might get to someone you do care about. Los Angeles police, you haven't got a clue. Once the FBI arrive, they'll know just what to do. Once we have the bombs, then we blow the roof. I'd be screaming with excitement if I weren't so aloof. Oh God, no, please don't kill me. You're one of them, aren't you? You're one of them. So, Mr. Mystery Guest, I want blood.
Also, this might be where I started to love villains with long blonde hair. Again, like with The Mask, the villain was hotter. Also, Alan Rickman. Yes.
So, Mr. Mystery Guest. Go fuck yourself, Hans. So, Mr. Mystery Guest. Mr. Rambo, it looks as though you're finally out of luck now. There'll be no more cat and mouse since Miss Gennaro is your spouse. This is the end. Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
It's officially Christmas. He's fallen off of Nakatomi Tower. That was not as good as some of their other ones.
I shot a kid. I shot a kid. For 16 years behind the desk is where I hid. But now I finally come to terms with what I did. I shot a kid. I shot a kid.
Not one of their great ones. Let's see. Now, let's see if this one will help. Otherwise, it's been kind of an interesting Monday.
Hello. We're here today to learn about proper opossum dental hygiene. This is the second in a series which began, you'll remember, with proper opossum massage. And I hope you're...
Why does this possum look terrified? I mean, it looks disheveled. It looks terrified. It looks more terrified than Chandler Halderson after realizing his defense wasn't going to work out.
We're all practicing that by now. Oh, by the way, the proper term is opossum. But if you'd rather simply say...
No, it is not. Look, I have asked everyone, and we have all agreed that it should just be possum. There should not be an O on it. I don't think so.
Say possum. Go right ahead. Nobody should give you a bad time about that. Now, it's time to focus on these 50 razor-sharp little teeth. Here I have chicken-flavored toothpaste and a sturdy brush. I'm kidding.
No, she's not. No, she's not. She had that brush ready. Look, that brush has never seen a dish. You see how clean that is? That is, in fact, not a prop. We need to know what the hell she uses that for, because that has never seen a cleaning thing.
This is actually an equine toothbrush. You saved this for your horse. This.
Okay, I have another question. Why do you have a horse toothbrush? Just, while we're asking questions, why do you just happen to have a horse toothbrush just hanging around?
This is more of a North American marsupial toothbrush. I prefer the long handle. So will you.
That's what she says. It's for Sarah Jessica Parker.
You. For the more adventurous among you, you can.
Yeah, go get a Sonic toothbrush. Go spend $80 on a Sonicare toothbrush for your possum.
Pick these up along with your possum massage body pillow at any marsupial supply outlet. Uh-oh. I think there's an elephant in the room. Well, let's address it.
Ma'am, what is the color of this elephant? Have you told the doctor that you see elephants that aren't in the room? I know that you're trying to speak euphemistically, but I'm pretty sure you're speaking literally. So what color is the elephant, and is he in the room now? I don't know. Again, look, our possums are weird looking. I feel bad for them because you're very good stewards of the land and they take care of ticks, but they look like demonic things when they're in front of your car and you're trying to avoid them.
The vast majority of opossums belong outside. If you find one there, leave it there. If you come across an injured or orphaned opossum, contact a professional wildlife rehabilitator immediately.
Ma'am, I say this every time, but if wildlife rehabilitators, by and large, are like you, I will not be calling not a single one of them should I find any random woodland creature that needs assistance, because I fear that I would give them my phone number.
If, after all this, you're still left with an opossum, stretch the animal out on a table and brush its teeth. Begin your oral exam.
Question, does this work with youngest, most feral children? Because I have a hell of a time getting that kid to floss and brush his teeth. So is this possible? Maybe I should try the chicken flavored toothpaste at this point.
Exam by testing the articulation of the mandible. You would be surprised how many opossums would benefit from orthodontic care. But good luck getting them to keep in their retainer. Been there, done that. Here we have a scene.
I don't doubt it. I see this woman with a little epoxy, some wires, and making a GD retainer for this possum. I see her holding it down and like putting the little, molds in. You laugh, ma'am, but there is no limiting factor. I do believe that you tried to perform orthodontia on the possum.
You're a possum whose teeth have been worn down over time. That's why I'm able to do this demonstration without too much fear of losing a hand. You want to get this right the first try because you may not get a second chance anytime soon. So, we begin brushing in downward strokes over the incisors and the bicuspids.
Yeah, he looks like he's really enjoying this.
And then
The whole
we want
trying to get
go
away from you.
back to the molars, being careful not to graze the delicate, soft palate. Opossums really come to enjoy this procedure.
Yeah, I can see the joy radiating out from him. It's almost like when he tried to throw himself off the table. It was out of joy. It was a joyful leap from the table.
Now, I don't recommend using your own toothbrush on the opossum as the bristles may be too firm for their sensitive gums. Contrary
This chick legitimately shares toothbrushes. This is said from experience, let's be real. This woman tried to use her own toothbrush and it didn't work out.
to what you may have heard, opossums are susceptible to gingivitis. It shows up as puffy red gums. You don't want that. On the other hand, pale or white gums may be a sign that you need to boost the iron content of the food supply. Close monitoring of possum gums does pay off. Oh, and avoid sugary snack foods. It just invites Mr. Tooth Decay, tartar, and plaque. Plaque can be such a problem for opossums.
No, you did this, ma'am. Ma'am, we're going to demonstrate on the dumpster fire because okay, so you licked your finger, touched the possum, and then proceeded to put said finger back in your mouth to lick it again. Like, ma'am, look, I have a young feral child who licks Walmart carts, so I know I'm, kettle pot. But, ew.
There. Well, now it's time to enjoy your opossum's sweet-smelling, fresh, clean breath. Ah, delightful.
Possum Run. She's going to wear you. Look, she's going to try to reenact that episode or that part in Empire Strikes Back where they cut open the tauntaun. Run, possum, run.
When cleaning is complete, you'll want to reward your opossum with a complex carbohydrate. In future sessions...
Oh, hell no, ma'am. You just talked about sugar. You realize that a complex carbohydrate such as a grape is full of fructose, sugar. I give up.
We'll be talking about proper opossum nutrition, grooming essentials, cardiovascular exercise for the less active opossum, plus thermoregulation and the occasional need for protective outerwear. Until then, happy brushing!
My fear of dentists seems warranted at this point. My absolute terror of dentists, which, by the way, hopefully we do have a verdict today because I do have a dentist appointment tomorrow, which I really shouldn't have put that video up because I really don't like dentists. My dentist is great. It's more that sound and then realizing that I have to be looking at your nose hairs and you have to be looking at my teeth. That makes the whole thing really uncomfortable for me. Also, the desire they have to talk to you while you've got something, hi. They're like, how are the kids? And you're like, Look, I always end up feeling like the Elephant Man when I go there, like, I'm a human being. So, yeah, I'm not a big fan of the dentist, not to mention, I have about a car in my teeth because they sucked. So a lot of them are crowns. So unfortunately, Mr. Mo not only inherited me, but my teeth. So you know. But hopefully we get a verdict today. We will be on Verdict Watch starting at 10:30. I do have a couple of hearings in the Walsh trial that we didn't look at, but I think they're going to be pretty interesting. There are some about the mom not wanting to answer questions and about where the plastic sheeting was found. So we will be looking at those as we are waiting for a verdict. There are not a lot of trials starting right now, and the one that I was looking at, Hicks versus Ohio, they don't even have the opening statements. They only have one day. So we will be looking at some of the older hearings in the Walsh trial as we wait for a Verdict Watch. I do expect that today, probably in the afternoon, is when we're going to get a verdict. So we will probably hang out until 2 and then do that kind of stuff, and then I'll pop back on if we've got a verdict. We'll probably play it by ear because we've got asynchronous learning day for half the kids and 2-hour delays for the other half. So it's gonna be wild, it's gonna be crazy, and I'll have to share the interwebs with my kiddos. So we will be hanging out at 10:30 doing that, and then just waiting for a verdict. For those of you who are a little black-pilled because we didn't get a verdict on Friday, do remember that just myself not being a juror, I had 100 pages of notes, and there were nearly 300 exhibits in this trial. So, do remember that these jurors are trying to do their very best. They are, deciding someone's life. And going into that, let's assume they're going into that wanting to do the best job they can, wanting to, use the best judgment they can to decide whether Brian needs to, pay the ultimate price and live in prison for the rest of his life, or whether he goes free. We have to give them time to do that. So we've got plenty of hearings and we have plenty of videos from cop cams and other stuff. So we will just hang out and do that as we wait for a verdict, and wait for any questions they might have. Now, there was one question Friday evening, fairly close to when they were going to go home. And that was simply, I think, an itemized index of what all the exhibits were. Now, that being said, going forward, we do know now that this judge will kind of send the jury a note at 4 p.m. to see if they want to stay past 4:30 or come in the other day. So hopefully this will be our final day of Verdict Watch. But if we've got another, day, we will be able to kind of determine that from around 4:30. So hopefully we will be done today, but if not, we will find something to look at tomorrow. But there will be a bit of a, change in the schedule because I do have a dental appointment. So I will get you guys all that info and set things up for tomorrow. I will see you at 10:30. Thank you guys for joining me. And, as dark as the world seems right now, and a lot of the headlines aren't nice, remember, we may not be able to change the world, but we can always add just a little bit of kindness in our own circle. And if all of our circles of kindness, link together, it can be a better world. So don't forget to brush your possum's teeth, and I will see you at 10:30. Bye, you guys.